This wonderful book is called In Love at Ease, Everyday Spirituality with Pramukh Swami Maharaj. He was really in love and at ease with the world. I think we can all learn from that in each moment. Let me see, where did we stop reading? Here we are. Beyond the desire for material objects lies one for appreciation and acknowledgement of one's seat and station in society. Swamishri regarded dimly lit corners and center stage cameras as all the same. During the grand bicentennial celebrations for Bhagwan Swaminarayan in 1981 in Ahmedabad, BAPS organized a conference to bring together hundreds of sadhus and mahants, monks and great beings from across the nation. Religious leaders and spiritual masters from Bengal, Karnataka, Uttarakhand, and Uttar Pradesh gathered to celebrate the unity in the diversity of the Hindu faith, which Swamishri was a part of. Swamishri prepared a felicitation and welcome for these great sadhus. Prior to the start of the main Sabha assembly, all the invited sadhus and religious leaders secured a prominent place on the stage in front of the cameras and microphones. Swamishri arrived and sat in a corner behind a pillar, blocking any view of him from the front of the stage. As the program was about to begin, the president of the Bharat Sadhu Samaj, the Indian Association of Ascetics, Swami Harinarayananandaji, called out for Swamishri. "Where is Pramukh Swami? He is the host, and we are waiting for him to start the evening program." A few of the sadhus pointed to Swamishri seated in a corner of the side of the stage, covered by a pillar in the hall. The president of the association nearly shrieked in Hindi, "Back there! Swamishri is the host and organizer. He is also a role model for the rest of us." He walked to the corner, raised Swamishri to his feet, and seated him on the central seat on the stage. Swamishri obliged, but he was as content in that corner as he was in the front seat. It was this equipoise, of Swamishri that led Swami Harinarayanandaji to say, "Pramukh Swami Maharaj is not just the leader of the Swaminarayan community," Swaminarayan is the central figure of their faith, "but the leader of the entire community of ascetics in India. His persona exudes detachment and indifference to the world. I have observed him from up close. He does not pretend, perform, or expect praise. He is truly, humanly divine." To be eyeless is to share one's seat, even if it is a sign of power and authority. I have noticed that many religious leaders are attached to their asanas, their seats. In traditional Hindu monasteries, a guru's asana is a sign of their authority and a symbol of their lineage. Unsurprisingly, religious leaders safeguard their asana and its decorum. Swamishri, on the other hand, was completely detached from his seat and the power it symbolized. He often sat on a side sofa after offering his seat to another religious leader or a visiting monk who may have found their asana to be below their expectations. Though gurus are often cautious about allowing disciples to sit on their seat, Swamishri was indifferent about where he sat or who sat on his seat. Narendra Prasad Das Swami and the Dr. Swami entered Swamishri's room in Gadhada after a meeting pertaining to one of the community's humanitarian initiatives. before a meeting. As soon as the two senior sadhus walked into the room, there was a power outage. The room was pitch dark. Swamishri stood up, grabbed their hands, and guided them to sit them down. He then took a seat across from them. Swamishri had a habit of chanting God's name whenever there was a power outage. He chanted the Swaminarayan mantra for a few minutes and asked the sadhus to carry on with the service-related conversation in the dark. 30 minutes into the conversation, power returned, and the sadhus saw the unfathomable. Their guru had seated both of them on his asana, while he was sitting on the floor in front of them. They nearly jumped up and asked Swamishri why he had done so. "It is all the same. I did not know where the other blankets or asanas were in the dark. I did not want you to sit on the floor, so I just had you sit on my seat. It is fine. Let's carry on with the conversation." A refined understanding of the self allows one to be so detached from that which is theirs. It isn't so much that Swamishri sat on the floor or that he carried on with the meeting in the dark, but that Swamishri could so easily give up his asana, his seat. That initial thought to give to others and to share with others which was rightfully his is one of the most subtle and intentional articulations of being I-less. Sometimes giving up one seat means giving up the spotlight. To be I-less is to be cozy in a corner so that the spotlight may warm others. Without a desire to be validated by others, one does not need the spotlight to feel motivated. There are several incidents in which Swamishri found a seat in the back of the hall or car without any consequence to his sense of self. Once, while having his meal in Ahmedabad, a young sadhu reminded Swamishri of a fellow sadhu who always found a way to sit in the front seat of a car when they were on a Padramani tour in the United Kingdom, where they go around visiting devotees in their households. One of the young sadhus joked, "Swamishri, be careful. He will jump into your seat too if you take too long." Oh, sorry. That's not what he said. "Swamishri, be careful. He will jump into your seat too if you take him along." I guess it makes sense both ways. The other sadhus in the room erupted into laughter. Swamishri inquired in a serious tone, "What is wrong with that? Let him sit in the front. There are no reserved seats with us." The sadhu pressed further, "Then where would you sit?" Swamishri responded with ease, "Anywhere there is a free seat, in the front, in the back. I have even traveled hanging outside of an open jeep once." The expectation to sit in the front, to have a fixed seat, is what causes harm. You get used to sitting in the front seat, and the day you do not get to sit there, you sulk. Never get used to a seat or a position. Nothing is permanent. And why does it matter if we sit in the front or back? It is an easy adjustment as long as your ego does not get in the way. Do not measure your worth and satisfaction based on where people ask you to sit. It only leads to bad things. Swamishri maintained this mindset with such ease that there was no hesitation in his observation of it. In 1982, Dadu Bhai Patel came to pick up Swamishri from Heathrow Airport in London in a black Rolls-Royce. Swamishri did not notice the make or model of the car. There was one small hiccup, though. There were more passengers than seats in the car. 3 sadhus sat in the back seats, and Swamishri and Dadu Bhai sat in the front. The British guide who had come along with Dadu Bhai was left standing on the sidewalk. Dadu Bhai felt embarrassed and explained the predicament to Swamishri. Swamishri immediately slid over from his comfortable passenger seat in the front to the small space on the gearbox of the car. The British gentleman then sat in the passenger seat, and they were off to the mandir. Everyone in that car sat comfortably except the person for whom the car had come. At the start of the chapter, I highlighted how being eyeless is a focus on how one does things and not necessarily what one does. Swamishri's ride in the Rolls-Royce was different in its intent and thoughtfulness. Though it may seem that a spiritual master such as Swamishri was engaged in the same activities as those around him, the difference was in the kind of engagement itself. There was an indifference in his experience of an apparent indulgence and felicitation. So thank you for listening. We'll pause our reading of In Love, at Ease, there for now.